American troops left as ordered, but order in Afghanistan departed as well.
Right now, finger pointing is not very helpful, but doing self-analysis, and that starts with accepting responsibility. And I was in a position to do a better job.
What was the original mission? Where did things change? And what does a veteran really think about leaving Afghanistan, then seeing the chaos that followed? We're getting perspective from a diplomat and military leaders with ties to Northeast Florida on This Week in Jacksonville. And thank you for joining us today. And while we focus on local concerns in Northeast Florida and Southeast Georgia, this international issue really is important and in many ways the talk around the world right now. Ambassador Nancy Soderberg is a foreign policy strategist, ambassador to the United Nations from 1997 to 2001, and was third-ranking official on President Bill Clinton's National Security Council from 93 to 97. She's also director of UNF's Public Service Leadership Program. And Ambassador, thank you for joining us this morning. You know, we'd been there nearly 20 years, but the Taliban took control in less than 2 weeks. Shocking on the one hand, but we hear some people saying the outcome is no surprise. What do you think about what's happening there in Afghanistan?
Well, first of all, our hearts go out to those at risk on the ground in Afghanistan. We still have thousands of Americans there, thousands of our allies there, and the number one priority is to get them out. And the U.S. military is focused on that. The administration is focused on that. And once they're safe, the Monday morning quarterbacking will happen. I personally was surprised. I think everyone was surprised by how quickly the Taliban took over. Estimates that I've heard about in the press were that it would have been, 18 months, certainly not a couple of days. And the fact that the U.S. trained military in Afghanistan just didn't fight, to just cut and left. Now we're hearing that Massoud and some of the other warlords are going to come back and fight. So I think the future is very uncertain here. How we got to this stage is going to be a major look. Was the intelligence wrong? Was the policy decisions wrong? How did this happen? Everyone wants to know. So I would say also to the men and women in our armed services who have fought in Afghanistan for the last 20 years, for the families who's lost loved one, they should take solace in the fact that for 20 years, they kept our U.S. homeland safe. Afghanistan was not a base for terrorists to attack us as they did on 9/11, and that is no small achievement. But many, many questions remain, and our hearts just go out for this terrifying and heartbreaking situation.
Yeah, Ambassador, if America kind of was in a rush to leave, what happens now, especially when it comes to the majority of Afghan people? Women seem especially concerned about their rights.
Well, the Taliban have an encouraging set of talking points right now, but I don't think anyone believes them. You cannot rule Afghanistan, no democracy, Sharia law. Women will suffer, girls will suffer. They're saying they can still go to school and work, but in Sharia law, no one really knows what that means, but we know who the Taliban are. They ruled Afghanistan in the 90s until 2001, were horrific. They beheaded people. They wouldn't let women go to school or work. They had to be at home fully covered. Dancing was outlawed. Music was outlawed. And the country was just imploding. The humanitarian situation in Afghanistan, by the way, is already at risk. This is just going to make it worse. You've got refugees still in Pakistan from years ago. And people are voting with their feet. They're terrified and they're getting out. So I think there's a lot of questions in how we got here and where are we going. If you remember, we invaded Afghanistan after 9/11 because the Taliban, which were in power, gave safe harbor to Osama bin Laden, who attacked us on 9/11. I remember being at the UN as an ambassador during this period in the lead up to 9/11. We were sanctioning the Taliban, hand over bin Laden, trying to tighten the pressure on them to no avail. And so when President Bush went into Afghanistan following 9/11, the goal was to root out the terrorist camps that were provided by the Taliban and get Osama bin Laden, which took 11 years. But we did accomplish that and have gutted al-Qaeda's ability there. The question is, will they live up to the agreement that they made with President Trump to have the U.S. leave Afghanistan with the condition that they will not recreate a terrorist haven in Afghanistan? We don't have any idea whether that's going to be held up. President Biden, when he came in, decided to keep that deal, delayed the timetable a little bit. And I think there's lots of questions. Was it stay for an endless war or pull out? Was there a middle ground? We still have troops in Japan. We still have troops in South Korea. We still have troops in Germany holding the lid on the peace. And we had a few thousand troops left that were holding this check. Had we kept them there a little longer, would they become targets again from the Taliban, or was there a way to hold Bagram? Lots of questions that are yet to be answered.
Ambassador, let's wrap up just on this kind of question area. President Biden said this week there was no way to exit without chaos ensuing. So at this point, what do you want to see now? Is there any way to fix this?
Well, first of all, there's two stages here. One is having our troops pull out and make sure that our allies, all Americans, are safe and protected and evacuated. That did not happen. Why it didn't happen will be the subject of many, many, many investigations. But the number one task right now is get the Americans out. There's still, I heard today, 10,000 there. I don't think we know exactly, but they're there as missionaries. They're there working with church groups, or we're working with aid groups, humanitarian groups, democracy organizations. They work closely, being funded by the U.S. government in some cases. They need to get out, need to get Americans out. Those who helped us, military, the translators, the Pentagon, the embassy, that's the number one. And there's a lot of people. So moving them out very quickly is the number one task. And then what about the people of Afghanistan that we've helped for 20 years? What's going to happen with the women and girls? No one knows the answer to that, except if history is any lesson, it will be another horrific regime where women and girls are subjugated to abuse after abuse after abuse. The country will implode, and I'm sure that we will keep our eyes on it. If there are terrorists that show up, we'll make sure that that has military action very swift. But there's a big question of where are we going now? And I think just my heart goes out for this just heartbreaking situation. But the U.S. military that did serve in Afghanistan can be proud that they did keep the homeland safe. I'll just repeat that. Thank you for their service.
Ambassador Nancy Soderberg, thank you so much for your insights and your time today.
Always a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
All right, just ahead here, U.S. military equipment left behind in Afghanistan and the risks of it falling into the hands of the Taliban and their terrorist allies. Lieutenant General Joe DiSalvo joins us and discusses the policies involved in leaving the country. That's next on This Week in Jacksonville.
The Olympic Games are on, and Toyota has great deals on Camry, Highlander, RAV4, and more.
Right now, get 0% APR for 36 months on a new 2021 Toyota RAV4.
But it all ends September 7th.
Toyota, let's go places.
At Fair & Farah, it's all about listening.
It was like I had a listening ear. You make everything so simple where you don't have to worry about it. If you need somebody that's there for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, choose Fair & Fair.
Fair & Farah, here for you, here for good.
You know how we're not supposed to reinvent the wheel? Mm-hmm. Why is it good that we keep reinventing the tire? And why is it bad to have your wheels spinning, but it's good to keep your wheels turning?
I don't know, sounds like a loophole.
Right now at Tire Kingdom, save up to $100 on 4 select tires. Plus, up to a $100 Visa prepaid card on 4 select Continental tires.
Oh, I get it. Loophole, like a tire.
I guess.
Getting back to all of this will take all of us. If you have questions about the vaccines, Florida Blue nurses are standing by for your call. Florida Blue, your local Blue Cross Blue Shield, here for the one place we call home.
At Firehouse Subs, a portion of every purchase helps provide life-saving equipment to first responders. Every sub makes a difference, so we make our subs differently. Like our new Chicken Gyro sub with a pepperoncini tzatziki spread. Firehouse Subs. Enjoy more subs. Save more lives.
Fall together with Lowe's. Labor Day values now in-store and online. Lowe's, home to any budget, home to any possibility.
It's a fact. More people die from medical malpractice than in car accidents. If you suspect a doctor or a hospital is to blame for an injury, call Fair & Farah. We specialize in these types of cases. Farah & Farah, here for you, here for good.
Toyota's national sales event is on now.
Right now, lease a new 2021 Toyota Camry LE for $229 a month for 36 months.
It all ends September 7th.
Toyota, let's go places.
I love my truck. Big, bold, and I couldn't do my job without it. Wait a second. My truck's not supposed to be this loud. And what's up with the jerky acceleration?
The problem isn't what's wrong with the truck, it's what's missing from it.
Revealing how thieves are ripping off local drivers right under their noses and leaving them with thousands of dollars of repairs.
The 3 things you can do right now to protect your vehicle from thieves.
Gone in 60 seconds. Tuesday at 5 p.m. on News 4 Jax.
You're watching This Week in Jacksonville with Kent Justice.
Joe DiSalvo lives in Jacksonville and retired from the U.S. Army after 37 years. He retired as a lieutenant general and served 14 years overseas in Europe, the Middle East, and Latin America. General DiSalvo is joining us now. Thank you so much, General. And from a tactical and operational view, what happened in Afghanistan when American forces withdrew recently?
Yeah, hi, Kent. Well, first, thanks for having me on. So from a tactical perspective, as the U.S. and NATO scaled back its forces, by the time we got to the 2,500 troop limit, that meant all the presence we had in the villages and remote areas outside of Kabul no longer existed. Hence, our government lost the pulse on the Afghan security forces, the local government tribal dynamics, and all that contributed to the stunning lack of intelligence because we literally had no human intelligence being collected. We went blind. On the operational perspective, now here I'm referring to how the U.S. government, along with our NATO allies, were assisting the Afghan security leadership in operating and sustaining the critical lines of communication necessary for the Afghan security forces to maintain security. Despite 20 years of showing the Afghan senior leadership within the security ministry how to train, equip, and sustain the Afghan Army and Air Force, once we withdrew, particularly the maintenance experts, the Afghan security ministry still did not have the strong enough institutional base to be successful. Hence, security forces out in the hinterlands ran out of ammo, fuel, food, pay, and morale went south as the government proved incapable of doing what it's supposed to do. That's taking care of its soldiers.
Yeah. General, we've seen images of chaos that's really disturbing at times. Certainly for the Afghan people, there's a lot of concern. I think plenty of concern for Americans trying to do their jobs as well. What are, in your view, what are service members going through as this all unfolds right now?
So a quick comment on what's unfolding with respect to the evacuation. It's called a non-combatant evacuation operation, so NEO. In all commands, in this instance, Central Command, you always train for this because it's a very complicated mission. By its nature, it's very risky because you must plan for executing this evacuation in a non-permissive environment. And you got to analyze the timing options. How soon do you pull the plug and begin evacuating? How do you get all the personnel to the airfield? When are they when they're spread out all over the country? And what are the rules of engagement for the military personnel executing this evacuation? Again, a lot of moving parts. So if I were a service member right now on the ground there, I'd be thinking several things. One, hopefully the rules of engagement are clear and I have every right to defend myself and my battle buddy. And I'm sure this is the case now. Two, is there a chance my mission might extend beyond the airfield, in this case, the international airport, and go outside the airport? And based on what Secretary of Defense Austin said, no, all operations will stay inside the airport. And then three, will we be moved to another airport to help expedite the evacuation? And I think the answer is no, based on the fact there is no other viable airfield. Bagram Airfield closed down 2 months ago. Yeah. And four, the big question, how the hell did this collapse happen so fast? And that's a great question. And then fifth, how long will I be here? Based on the president, until all the American citizens are evacuated out.
So, General, just be brief here if you don't mind, but Senators Rick Scott, Senator Marco Rubio, they're both complaining to the Secretary of Defense, demanding a full account of U.S. military equipment that's been left behind in Afghanistan. So already is either in the hands of or risks falling into the hands of the Taliban and terrorist allies. Why is that happening? Why would we leave our equipment behind like that?
A couple of things, Kent. You have no option. with 20 years of train and assist and equip that mission, there's so much equipment there, it'd be impossible to recollect it now. Number two, the assumption was that the security forces, the Afghan security apparatus, could take care of this equipment, and obviously they haven't. Now, as far as accounting for it, with all due respect to the senators, there's no way in heck they're going to be able to account for all equipment. It's impossible. Now, for the major end items like airframes, the fixed-wing aircraft, the rotor wing, the helicopters, we know how many are there. As far as their current disposition, we're not going to know for all intents and purposes. For the personal equipment, the machine guns, the squad level munitions, ammunition, the night vision goggles, all that personal gear. There's no way in heck we can give an accurate accounting of that right now, just because we have no eyes on the ground at that small level where all that equipment went to. So that's sort of where we're at on it. It's ugly, without a doubt.
Yeah. Hey, I just have 30 seconds here, but the Joint Chiefs Chairman, General Mark Milley, this week said the government had no indication Afghan military government would collapse so quickly. Do you agree with that view?
Kent, the short answer is yes, simply because I personally know General Milley, and I have no doubt him being truthful to this point. I will say this, though. The way this whole process unfolded, I guarantee senior folks within the U.S. Intelligence, they looked at the most dangerous course of action, the most likely course of action, analyzed all the assumptions and intel available, and based on all that and the risks, et cetera, in the end, our commander-in-chief selected the course of action he thought was most appropriate based on the intelligence available at the time and other factors. So now we see the intel associated was badly flawed, and this is where we're at.
Yeah, General Joe DiSalvo, we appreciate getting to meet you for this time here, share some of your insights, and appreciate your service for sure to the country. Thanks for the time.
Hey, thanks, Ken. It was my pleasure.
So just ahead, perspective from retired General Ben Hodges, why he says a hopeful outlook 10 years ago turned out to be a mirage. That's next on This Week in Jacksonville.
A short while ago, an injured worker left me a message that said, "You probably won't call me back, I'm just a nobody." Those words stunned me, and I called him right back. Nobody's a nobody, and no one deserves a better firm than you. All law firms are not the same.
Getting back to all of this will take all of us. If you have questions about the vaccines, Florida Blue nurses are standing by for your call. Florida Blue, your local Blue Cross Blue Shield, here for the one place we call home.
News 4 Jax Insider. Sign up and sign in today.
Hey, school's in session, and here's today's lesson. I'll give you not 1, 2, but 3 reasons to buy. We have the vehicle you're looking for with a wow price you expect. We're fast, fair, and transparent, and every new car comes with a 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Plus, every purchase supports our local schools, teachers, and students. Your next assignment, get to Beaver Toyota in St. Augustine or Beaver Chevrolet in Jacksonville to help support your local schools. Deadline, August 31st. We're here to wow you and our teachers.
You just want to meet your new niece.
Here she is.
But if slow upload speeds were to freeze your face and you accidentally snub a newborn,
Nothing is ever good enough for you.
just remember, you're not a bad sister.
This is going to be a problem.
You just need better internet.
AT&T Fiber delivers a faster internet experience with 25 times faster upload speeds than cable. Get AT&T Fiber. Plan starting at $35 a month for a year. Limited availability in select areas. Call 1-877 only ATT.
Dude, this thing is awesome. I know. I bought it using the Cash Rewards card from Navy Federal Credit Union. I get cash back on every purchase. Honestly, I can't imagine where I'd be without them. One word. Got it. Reeling in fish. No. Eating fish. Fish in the sea? Movie.
Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission.
You know, it takes lots of innovation to keep costs down. Mega amounts, like one of the largest solar expansions in the nation, and making our state-of-the-art natural gas plants ultra-efficient. Which, by the way, has saved all of us billions of dollars. But there's more. We also built the most intelligent grid in America. I can go on and on. Tons of ideas, countless innovation, always keeping an eye out for savings. Who does that?
Being injured in an accident is only the beginning of your problems. Don't throw away your one shot at compensation. Make it count. Fair and Fair.
You're watching This Week in Jacksonville on Channel 4.
Honored to speak with Ambassador Soderberg and General DiSalvo on this topic of Afghanistan this week. I also spoke earlier this week with retired Lieutenant General Ben Hodges. He was born in Jacksonville, served 38 years in the U.S. Army, including 2009 and 10 in Kandahar, Director of Operations over the southern third of Afghanistan.
We benefited from what was called the Obama surge, a significant increase in American and British capability. They came in 2009, and we actually had enough capability to conduct operations there. And I really felt, and by the way, we were under British command. I had General Nick Carter was our commanding general. Most of the headquarters was British there. I felt at the end of 2010 when we were leaving that, like, wow, this could really work. I mean, I had seen so many Afghan officers and soldiers and civilians that were really capable. So I had some confidence. But of course, that was 11 years ago. And it's obviously a completely different situation now, but it also shows that I was wrong. I was overly optimistic and that I failed to fully appreciate the nature of the Afghan culture and that a military built on a U.S. or Western model versus a Taliban force that was much more in harmony with Afghan society and culture.
General, as you think back on that, that's interesting to me to hear you say that, 10 or 11 years ago, there was some hopefulness about a military exit by Americans and then Afghan forces being able to do what we hoped they would do. As we've seen in the last several weeks, it hasn't worked out that way. What do you think could have been different? What do you wish we would have done from allied forces kind of standpoint?
So 3 things come to mind. First of all, making sure that the strategy is right. You know, when the U.S. went into Afghanistan with many allies right after 9/11, the focus was on destroying al-Qaeda and making sure that Afghanistan could not be a safe haven for terrorist attacks on Europe or the United States. About 2 years into that, we lost focus. We, the United States, we lost focus on that mission, got diverted to Iraq, which had nothing to do with 9/11. And we also began trying to develop other capabilities in Afghanistan, which is not evil, but that was not the purpose for going. And so over the years, drifting away from the original strategic purpose, and it's always the duty of the president to lay out what is the strategic objective, what are we trying to accomplish, and then all of American power with our coalition partners then figure out the how. So that was number one. Number two, we never took into account Pakistan. We wanted to believe that Pakistan was going to be an ally. Obviously, we were concerned about the nuclear weapons that Pakistan has, that they might fall into the wrong hands. But we were either fooled ourselves or we were naive or didn't want to realize or didn't want to acknowledge that Pakistan was actually not an ally. I mean, Osama bin Laden was found living in a large house just down the street from the military academy of Pakistan. The Pakistanis provided safe haven for the Taliban and for al-Qaeda, and you cannot defeat an insurgency that has that sort of safe haven. The third thing I would say, and again, I hold myself responsible for this as well as anybody else, the Afghan culture is based almost entirely on the tribe and the family. And we designed a military and based on a Western model, which is on the premise of overwhelming firepower, endless logistics, exquisite intelligence. It's not just about producing hundreds of soldiers. And so when all of that other stuff is gone, then it collapsed. And of course, the Taliban had no air power. They didn't need it. And I think this was a mistake, and I'm as guilty as anybody.
How do you feel about what we see going on there right now? People desperate to get out of the country
women scared about what their future holds there under Taliban rule?
Well, of course, it's sickening, and you can see the terror, and you can feel it. I have zero confidence in statements by the Taliban that somehow they're going to be more inclusive, that women will have a role within the context of Sharia law. That does not give me great hope. It's going to be difficult, and of course, I also think about the young American soldier or a Marine or a pilot that's there. I mean, they're seeing thousands of Afghans trying to get on board a plane. And what's a young 19, 20-year-old soldier? What are the rules of engagement? This is a very, very difficult situation. Fortunately, these young women and men are superbly disciplined. They're prepared for this task, but it's awful to imagine looking into those faces. And of course, I have to say, I agreed with the president's decision to do this withdrawal. I'm just very disappointed in how it's being executed now in terms of the rapid collapse of the Afghans. We looked like we were not prepared. Something as important as policy for getting Afghan interpreters out. This is not normal immigration. This is a situation that we knew was coming, and we should have had those kind of policies in place already. I think to answer the question, was it worth it? I do believe that we gave the Afghans the best possible opportunity to create something that's there. But strategy is not about emotion. Strategy is about the map, about geography, about strategic interest. And we lost sight of that. And I think we're going to have to do a very, very hard introspection and look at our institutions as well as our strategic processes.
General Hodges also told me right now, finger pointing is not very helpful, but doing self-analysis starts with accepting responsibility. He told me he does, as someone who led forces in the region more than 10 years ago. Now, if you are a family member or a friend, as a veteran, a service member in the Reserve or National Guard, there is help every day, all day. We want you to know about this. There's an 800 number, 800-273-8255, then press 1, or text 838-255, or chat online at veteranscrisisline.net. We've also got this information on news4jax.com, along with some additional resources for you to get help for you or for others going through a tough time right now. Thanks for joining us on This Week in Jacksonville.
See why every day more people are choosing News 4 Jax, Northeast Florida and South Georgia's #1 source for local news.